just yet. They chose their king, their power was met, but we don't answer to Ottawa yet. No crown gave us what we've earned, just dirt and fire and lessons learned. Now the ground it shakes, the steel it groans, and Alberta walks alone. We ride sovereign steel through fire, through frost. We ain't the last, we're the line they lost. Alberta stands never on its knees, a nation born in the forge of the free. From the rigs to the rails, the crops to the code, we lit their streets, we bore their load. They laughed at pride, they mocked the West, but freedom don't die, it just waits for the test. The cowboys ride, the farmers rise, 5 million strong under open skies. No leash, no lie, no foreign throne. This land is steel and it stands alone. We ride sovereign steel through fire, through frost. We ain't the last, we're the line they lost. Alberta stands never on its knees, a nation born in the forge of the free.
Welcome. It's 7:11 and it's Bruce Show. Welcome. I'm so excited to be here. What an extraordinary time that we are living through. And I'm glad that you're here with me. If you are watching, make sure to share this out. Get some more eyeballs on the information we have got to wake Canadians up. We've got them all, wake them all up, whether they're in Canada, whether they're in the United States, wherever you happen to be watching. Make sure to share this out. We have got to continue to wake the zombies from their sleep. So again, thanks for being here. I'm excited because it is just an extraordinary time to be alive. I have a great new guest. I have seen him on one of my favorite podcasters' podcast recently and seen some of his conversations. Seems like we might have something to talk about. He's a bit of a libertarian from what I can tell, and has some views that might be interesting to hear about. I'm really looking forward to having this conversation. It's Peyman Askari, and I've seen him on a good friend of mine, Jason James, who's an amazing writer. And, because I do my own show, I don't get a chance to watch his on a regular basis, but I love the work that guy does. So anyway, I saw him on there. I thought, you know what? He seems like a very intellectual, intelligent, computational neuroscientist that I want to find out more about. So I've asked him to come and join me, and he is gracious enough to have moved his schedule for my flub up as far as the schedule yesterday is concerned, and he's sitting there waiting patiently for me to have him join in. Anyway, so we're going to get into it. We're going to have a great conversation. Obviously, we can talk about a little bit of everything. Politics, maybe. He was a candidate in the goodness gracious, what was the area that he was in? I think it was West Vancouver that he ran as a PBC candidate. Anyway, we're going to get into that here very shortly. I always like to talk about local businesses. I think it's really, really important that you support mom and pop businesses, local businesses, the like. We have got to, continue to work on our I guess our systems that are outside of the large cash, the large. We've got to get out of these massive one world systems. So make sure to support local businesses, as I always talk to you about. One of them that has been with me from the beginning is NuggetStacker.com. I do suggest getting gold and silver for your family's wealth protection. I am not your investment advisor, but I do suggest getting some. Up in the top left-hand corner, use that QR code to get you a bit of a discount, NuggetStacker.com. You can find it right through my website, unscrewthenews.com. I love any support that you can throw my way. But NuggetStacker, if you have any questions, 1-866-644-2121. Anything over $600 was delivered free of charge anywhere in Canada. And they are great to deal with. One of the other things that I have to talk to you about, I'm going to bring this up here shortly because Capitalism and Morality, we're having an event right here in Calgary. It'll be September 11th and 12th. The VIP dinner will be on the 11th. And then the main event will be all day on the Saturday. That's September 12th. Buy your tickets right here. Great venue. It's going to be a great event. Excellent food. Well worth the price. The VIP tickets are going to be $500, and I've got a code UTN10 that will give you 10% off. If you get the VIP ticket, which is $500, that will get you special seating. It'll get you the dinner on the Friday night where we have special guests, one of them being Tamara Leach. And we've got a screening of Helen Gross film on the Saturday evening as well. Lots and lots of great. You know what? I'm going to just roll through the speakers. We've got Francis Widdowson, Bruce Party, Amy Eileen Ham, Michael Wagner, Tamara Leach, Nadine Wellwood, Jason Levine, Corey Morgan's going to be there. Some fantastic. Helen Gross is going to be there. Anyway, great event. September 11th and 12th. Get the tickets. I've got the link in all of my show notes so you can find it. And we're going to get into this here right away. And Peyman is going to be joining us here. Anyway, I am the unapologetic Albertan. I'm searching for the truth, and I'm ready to defend our way of life. This is August 16, 2026. This is episode number 305. I've got Peyman Askari joining me, and I just called this Western World. I got to find a better title. I know. I totally get it. Anyway, I want to welcome him to the States. Thank you so much for joining me, sir. It is a pleasure to have you. And I know you're coming to us from the glorious state of Florida. And, thanks for gracing us with your presence.
No, I thank you for having me on. I basically have done nothing all weekend long. I was excited that we were going to do it last night, and then that ruined my Saturday. But thankfully, I was just as bored all day today.
Just as bored. Yeah. Sorry about that. I totally messed up. I got this. I finally had got an opportunity to get Mitch Sylvester on, and then I totally messed up and had to bump Peyman Askari to Sunday. So again, thanks for being here. I appreciate you putting up with me and my paper calendar mess up. That's what it is. It's completely because I have a paper calendar. I like to use paper and pen. So shoot me right now. But anyway, I'm glad that you joined me. Do you mind just giving everybody a little bit of a background? I know that you came to Canada as a child from Iran. And one of the things that I really liked that you were talking about at this Capitalism and Morality that you did last year in Vancouver was a little bit about life in Iran versus life in Canada. Do you mind just touching on that a little bit so to give everybody a flavor of, who you might end up being?
Yeah, I was born in Iran in 1983, and at the time, there was a war waging on, started in 1980 between Iran and Iraq. It would continue on until 1988. And the speech I gave at the Capitalism and Morality conference, I said, there's bombs landing outside, but my mom had to call her brother, so my uncle, to come in and protect her, to keep the house safe. My dad was nowhere to be found because he had to go out and make money. This is a completely different mindset than what we have here in the West. You know, like, money is absolutely guaranteed. Worst case scenario, you go work for the government, or I don't know, they shower money down upon you, like with Serb Siva.
Oh yeah.
And also, like, you have law enforcement everywhere here. So if you damage somebody's sign at a protest, somebody calls a cop that's always around. Whereas in the Middle East, it was kind of like, bro, you're on your own, man. Like, grab a gun and pass the ammunition.
I've heard stories of other places, and we do really have this a soft lifestyle thought, really soft. I see it all day long, every day, Peyman, is that people just cannot, for the life of them, take accountability for themselves. Because they've become so soft, because we have ambulances, you can just call this one number and they'll send somebody over and they'll take care of you, your boo-boo, and they'll take you to the hospital. And like you said, you can call the Gestapo and they'll send over somebody to make sure that your Palestinian flag is still okay at City Hall, or whatever the case is. It's I don't know. We the cycle. The hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times. To me, it feels like we are in that the bottom of that circle, where we have created the best of the world, the best of everything, and really we've just created such weak people.
Yeah, we are definitely at the end game, and I pray to God it's the end game. Can you imagine if there's going to be yet another cycle of people that are even weaker than what we've become right now? I don't even want to imagine that. Like, people just walking around in these e-scooters or just rolling around. Everyone's fat. You can't look at people or you're offending them. But Canada wasn't like this. There's a video circulating around for Vancouver of the early 90s where this one white guy, his face is bloody, and the journalist is like, "What happened?" He's like, "Well, there was some people protesting against white culture, so we beat the crap out of them." That was Vancouver in the 90s.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so you're not in Vancouver currently, but I mean, you still must have some sort of ties to BC. But apparently you're escaping. It really has fallen apart. Tell me what is going on in BC. I mean, I have this big chunk of rock in between me and the cliff that BC is falling off of. But I talked to I've had Dallas Brody on before. Obviously, she's a little bit more level-headed than most people out in politics in BC. I really like having a discussion with her. And Jim McMurtry, I've had him on, obviously, talking about the fake 215 clay tiles underneath the dirt over in Kamloops. But oh my gosh, what's going on with EB, or what is happening in BC? Like, how did that get so bad?
So let's distinguish between. I always shit all over BC. Like, I just say it's the most communist province. But let's be clear. Sorry for the flies buzzing around. Let's be clear. It's not all of British Columbia.
We don't have flies here, by the way. I mean,
I'm right next to it.
It's such a great place.
I can't go anywhere with short sleeve shirts. It's not BC. It's the Lower Mainland. So that's Vancouver, the surrounding suburbs, and right. Vancouver Island, which is like ground zero for leftist libtard communists.
Oh, it's Purple Hair City out there.
Oh, it's horrible. It's absolutely. I don't know how that happened, but there used to be a nickname for Vancouver. They used to call it Lotus Land, like land of the lotus eaters.
Right.
And something about the West Coast they have, I don't know if it's resource abundance. I don't know if it's like because when you're close to a body of water, it regulates the temperature, so you don't get those like freezing tundra cold.
Right.
So you're not in survival mode. It's like I remember I was in Thailand and I was on a trip with this guy. He's like, yeah, when I was in the military, it was very difficult. They would drop us off on an island, and we had to survive there for 3 days, weathering, the environment. I'm like, what environment? You're in Thailand. Like, come to Canada. I'll show you environment. I think it's the same with BC. Like, they don't have that same survival need.
Well, you're absolutely right about that. Let me see. What was the example I was going to give you? But I've always thought about, homeless people, and we've got the strongest, the toughest homeless people. I mean, living in Canada, wow. I mean, you could be in Florida, you could be in Kelowna, and you could actually, not lose a limb for the most part, because you don't have minus 35 for a week. So I could see that. And I also always thought about Hawaii too. So I think that was a big part of why Albertans, or, maybe Western Canadians, they work hard. They have this sort of mentality where, okay, if I don't work hard in the spring and the summer, then I'm going to fucking freeze in the winter. And my kids will, they won't have any limbs left because they'll be sitting out on the street and they'll just be a limbless kid.
I think it's partly, it has to be something to do with the climate. It also probably has to do with the proximity to Ottawa. So the Western provinces were a little bit more fortunate. The sort of Laurentian elites that ruled the Dominion with an iron fist for, I don't know, 100 plus years. They didn't have as much of a grip on the Western provinces. And British Columbia wasn't always this bad. They had business-minded premiers up until a point, and I can't remember who the premier was, the last good one, and maybe it was Vander Zalm. And then after that, you got a succession of either Liberal or NDP premiers, and they moved away from the concept of government being there to facilitate commerce and trade amongst productive members of society to government like taking care of you. And that is a negative feedback loop. And the end result is what we have in Canada, where 25% of the GDP is directly or indirectly public sector.
God. I mean, you mentioned it before, and I've talked about this myself, is that, government jobs are just ballooning. They continue to say how we're growing the economy and there's more employment. But I say, oh yeah, out of this side of my mouth, I say, well, yeah, because you hired 10,000 more people to work in the federal government. They were probably wiping, the other person's ass. That was their job, is to make sure that, the other people sitting at the office, they don't have to get up and walk away. They can just, sit there and dump right at their desk. Oh my God. Why am I going there?
I could talk about this for hours. There was the very, very fierce warrior in British Columbia. Her name was Corinne Maury, and she fled the country. She tried running as an independent. The BC elections, BC ruined her life, so she's gone. And she investigated the BC Nurses Union. They had some sort of collusion with the government of British Columbia, where I'm making these numbers up. The government's like, okay, this year we're going to give you 100 million, next year 200, the year after 250, the year after 300 million, and thereafter every year we're going to give the BC Nurses Union $300 million. And the whole purpose was to increase, I think it was called nurse per patient ratio. So yes, you give it to the Nurses Union, they spend more money, you get more. And then she investigates, and the overtime actually increased. So the ratio went down. Right. And her theory is that all that money just went into useless bureaucratic jobs because it looks good on paper.
Wow. Well, it's not unlike, there's a group, I guess. I'm not necessarily so involved, but, municipally here in Calgary, it just seems like wherever you're at, but I mean, if you were in Vancouver, you probably saw the same thing. It just seems like more and more the politicians completely feel like they have no accountability whatsoever to the people. Is that not the theme through all politics today. It just seems like there is no accountability. They don't get into office because they're representing people. They're there to represent themselves. It always seems like.
Yeah, it depends how you look at it. First, you're right, and I agree with you, but it's a matter of how I agree with you.
Yeah.
So, on the one hand, you could have outright criminality. So you guys have a city called Chestermere, and there was a mayor, Jeff Calvin, and he uncovered fraud, and law enforcement and the provincial government basically they cooed him out of office. So that's like full on criminal.
Yes.
But like on the other side, I always, after having run in the elections in 2025, I try to see like how can we hold ourselves accountable rather than blaming the politicians. People, their level of patriotism is essentially 1 week's worth, and then they go cast their vote for an hour, half an hour,
Right.
and they just say, all right, you deal with this, I'm gonna go watch porn or Netflix or get drunk. And then the politicians, they turn around, they're like, well, what difference does it make if I do a good job or bad job? They're not paying attention. And the guy that did a bad job, CBC is reporting on them favorably.
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's completely our fault. Having a discussion with Mitch Sylvester last night, I thought the guy, I don't know if you know him that well, but I really thought he is dialed in, and he doesn't sleep. Well, he says he sleeps well, but the guy just works 24/7 on the project of independent Alberta. And I think, man, he must be dialed in. He's been doing this for 20 years. He's been obviously off the couch and really, really paying attention. And then he tells me, no, he just realized that he was so fucking tired of his government fucking him over after 2020 that he got up and he realized that he had to do something about it. I was like, wow, okay, I guess I'm not the only person that realized that we have to wake up ourselves and participate. And that really, I don't know if you know him, but David Parker continues to say this on a regular basis. He says that it's all our fault that we got to this stage, because we just allowed the cancer to continue to fester, and we wanted to live an easy life. I mean, we wanted that super easy life where things were good and we didn't have to lift a finger, and somebody else was taking care of our kids in school and being on committees, and this is what we got, right?
Yeah, like David Parker, there's that famous example where he asks if people are worried about what's in their kids' library, and everyone puts their hands up. And he's like, all right, who ran for school board trustee? And like, no one puts their hand up. And everybody got the message, you can't complain if you're not stepping up to the plate, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a bit of a problem where you could call it a pickle. So many people stepped up to the plate. So many people put their name on the ballot, and they got just completely taken out, and they left the country. That it's almost like a brain drain. Mm-hmm. We weren't organized. People weren't able to help. In some cases, people were they were crucified. So Tamara Leach, Chris Barber, the Coots Four, Helen Gruce. And it's not that we didn't want to help them. We weren't organized. We don't have the money that they have on the left. We don't have the NGO access. So we weren't able to help them. Those people, they've essentially been sacrificed. Yeah. And now we have to form a new generation of, I don't know, candidates and leaders to fill in.
Well, we were coming from behind, right? Because we just thought that everybody in Canada wanted the same thing. We wanted a good life, not to have to worry about doing anything. We didn't have to worry about doing politics. And we just wanted to raise our family, have a house, have some sort of a business, or whatever the case is. We thought everybody was in that same frame of mind. And apparently I think we got sideswiped because we didn't realize how bad it actually was, obviously, until Justin Trudeau decided that, in 2020, we should shut down all of our mom and pop businesses and keep the liquor stores and the weed stores open so that we can continue to degrade and, hit the ditch as far as our civilization is concerned.
I thought like that during COVID, and now the last few weeks, months, I'm wondering if this is like a cancer that's been growing slowly since the 60s, and we didn't really pay attention. I'm very focused with the judiciary. You mentioned Helen Gruss earlier. Like, you have judges that she's just throwing through the tribunals, but you have judges that have been completely compromised. To capture the court system takes a very long time.
Right.
And we've permitted this to happen through the law schools. And I mean, we have no one to blame but ourselves. I get what you're saying. As a conservative, what you really want to do is you just want to be a productive member of society and want to be left alone. But the bad guys, they don't care about that. They don't look at that and reciprocate it in kind. They're like, we're going to exploit these suckers.
Right. Yeah, and they have. But again, going back to your point, you're right. It really is much farther back. It's just that it was a slow creep, right, until 2020 hit, and then we all had a chance to sit and research during the lockdowns, and we still had our computers, and we could do a bit of research and found out, hey, this doesn't seem right. This doesn't seem reasonable. I mean, a democracy shouldn't be locking us up if we're healthy people and keeping us from the sunshine and, and keeping our kids from going to school and masking up. I think it woke up a lot of Canadians, but not enough.
It's been really dark times since 2016 with Trump when he got in. It went from Cambridge Analytica to you could see that they were moving in on Facebook principally. They did an ad, a hostile ad attack campaign, and he finally bent the knees, like, all right, well, I'll censor whatever you want. And then 2020 happened, not just with COVID and the lockdowns, but with the election, whatever you believe. I'll go to my grave believing that it was stolen.
100% it was.
And then Trump gets back in, and I'm glad you agree. And Trump gets back in, and the way I tell the story is he defunded USAID, and the left was scrambling for a while. And we still had this hatred of Trudeau, and we still had this, reverence, at least in Canada, for Trump, as he's the good guy. Trudeau's bad guy. Trudeau's gone away. Carney's kind of managed it better. He's not the same villain, at least appearance-wise. And somehow the left, I think, managed to attack Trump during the Iran conflict. Yeah. And now the right has been balkanized. And I just see people that they have terminal Trump derangement syndrome. They're all fighting with each other. There's nothing resembling unity. And I don't know how we get back, get the gang, get the team back together.
I have to say, I don't agree in regard to Carney. I think that he was the puppet master all along from 2015, really pulling the strings for Justin Trudeau. And I think he was really the architect behind, what we saw. We definitely saw it during the convoy. I mean, he was the one that was making a decision to shut down bank accounts. And now we have the foxes in the hen house. And now he's I don't know, he's not doing anything that I can see that's actually for the benefit of Canadians. Last I checked, there's a lot of forest fires that are happening. Canada's really up, there's a lot of turmoil, and he's off in Italy doing something. I mean, God knows what. I don't know as far as infrastructure. There's certainly nothing being built. He said that he was going to obviously build Canada, and we were going to support each other. That's certainly not happening. As far as a deal here in Alberta, we were supposed to have an MOU that was going to get us a pipeline quickly. Well, we have to increase our carbon tax. I think it's some godly amount before 20 years before we'll even have a pipeline that's pushing any new oil and gas to our markets. So I don't see him very favorably.
No, I agree. And whenever I say he looks like a good statesman, people get upset. And I gotta clarify.
Yeah, he does look good.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel sorry for Trudeau. Like it feels like they made him play the game of prime minister on hard mode, and then Carney comes in and he just changes the mode settings to very easy, right? So
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he's going to Alberta and it just derails the referendum through the court. Nobody really says anything. Smith, she's like, "Don't worry, I'll bribe you with this pipeline," which is a complete disaster. But anyway, like it's the appearance of a pipeline. EB, the evergreen communist, he doesn't say anything. He's like, well, it's a federal jurisdiction, so we're not going to oppose it. When was the last time communists actually gave a damn about jurisdiction? So yeah, he's a terrible guy with Brookfield. They're just buying up the country, but he comes out and he makes concessions, like that concession he made where he said we're not going to hit our climate target, climate targets for whatever 2030 or anything. Like I'm just looking at that. I'm like, well, okay, well, the Conservative Party of Canada just screwed. I mean, he just took a whole bunch of voters, and you know how Canadians are.
Mhm.
They don't really look into these things. They're like, oh yeah, I really like that guy. I think I could vote for him, and then their elbows go in the opposition.
That was the most absurd thing, but it worked. It worked. I just don't understand.
It was like COVID all over again, like COVID. It was COVID. You're killing my grandma, so you're bad. And then it was Ukraine, Salva Ukraine. We got to send all like 75% of our armaments to Ukraine. We got to seize assets of Russians. I'm like, guys, that's racism. They're like, shut up, Peyman. So that was another mass formation. And then I was in the room with these zombies. I was like, hey guys, these guys have been in power for 10 years. They've ruined everything. How could you keep voting for them? But they just said orange man bad, like a zombie army.
That's right. I mean, it was directed back to Trump, so that he was the villain. Speaking of villain, I found a picture of Mark Carney here. I just got to bring it up. You've seen this guy? Looks like
Mr. Burns.
Like Mark Carney. Yeah.
It looks better than Carney. Yeah, probably more trustworthy too.
Oh my God. Every time I see him, I think he's Mr. Burns for sure.
He's a horrible public speaker too. The filler words. We have to change the interest rate. I'm like, how the hell did this guy become a central banker?
Well, he's a central banker. He's in behind the scenes. I mean, he's pulling the strings at the bank. I don't know if I guess banking is a different world. I didn't grow up working in a bank, and I don't know if you did, but maybe it's a different animal.
I mean, there's a reason that you don't put bankers in positions like elected office, because they can't speak, in lay terms. They can't speak to the average person. So I don't know what the powers that be were thinking when they installed Carney, and it was an installation. It was not an election.
Well, I mean, it was essentially a WEF. He's the captain of the WEF, or the Davos crowd anyway. Without having Klaus Schwab here, he was the next best thing, because we've penetrated the cabinets. And there's Carney, penetrated the cabinets. What about his wife? Oh my goodness, that was quite the show when they were dancing with their elbows up. Did you remember that scene?
Yeah, I don't know what's more horrific, that scene of her with her elbows up, or Justin Trudeau doing that bunny dance in the music video
with Katy Perry.
Yeah, it's just they're on the beach, and I was looking at the pictures. I'm like, are there any sharks in the background? Like, it just all it takes is one shark.
It would be nice. I'm just going to bring this up and show our viewers. This is Peyman's podcast in lay terms, and I know you said that you were doing it 3 times a day, but is certainly not doing that now, is what I got a sense of. Is it regular, or are you whenever you feel the need for speed?
Whenever I find some spare time, I try to bang out a solo live stream. I love going over judicial cases, or on Thursday, Luke Savarin dropped a a massive indictment of the parliament and their failure to support whistleblowers. So I just went over that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that would be good. I think that's. And so, do you do a separate show with? I don't remember his name. Berg.
Yeah, so JP and I, we do a Monday
JP.
morning.
Hmm.
Yeah, we do a Monday morning politics show. We talk half an hour about what's going on in Canada. He's more reserved. He can be more professional. I just start dropping F-bombs saying, F this guy, F that guy, F everyone. They're all in on it.
Okay, so I was pulling up, and I wanted to get your take on Bill C9, and you were mentioning that the JCCF has already heard from some people that are being arrested. Can you expand on that a bit?
Yeah, John Carpe did an interview, and he was talking about how the police started going door to door to people based on posts that they've made in 2025. Now, I don't know what the post is. I don't know if they said,
Sure.
shoot the prime minister in the head or what, something egregious. But the thing is that it was from 2025.
Yeah.
So I thought that they would wait for this to get to the courts, and how judges, they weasel their way in. They say, well, it was, the post was made in 1776 or whatever, but it's on a server today. So we're just going to twist this into origami and say that it's acceptable, but they just rammed it through even without that.
So did you hear anything? I mean, I haven't heard this at all. That was the first time I've heard that there was potentially already some people that were being approached. I know that he had put out a post in preparation asking people if you got questioned or if they came to your door that you could reach out to him at the JCCF. But did you hear much else about that? Because that is a little bit scary. I mean, obviously, in the position that I'm in, they're probably going to be coming after us first and foremost, the people behind the mics.
I've heard a lot of things. First of all, the moment that bill passed, there was a lot of people with heightened anxiety. So somebody, 3-4 accounts get locked on X.
Yeah.
Everybody starts wondering if it's Bill C9.
Yeah.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's a coincidence. But the fact that you're freaking out, it's like if you're in Nazi Germany and if you hear footsteps outside and you go hide in your closet, and the footsteps happen to be somebody playing soccer, that doesn't make it right. You're still freaking out about the Gestapo showing up, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So I'm not saying Canada's a Nazi country, but the parallels are there.
But it is. I mean, sorry.
No, I know, but people get triggered when I say that, right? So I have to make this. It's like a struggle session where I have to say, we're not goose stepping yet. So I acknowledge that. I had another friend, Remy, the remanded. He's one of the only people that's looking into the fraudulent or suspicious activity around the BC elections of 2024.
Yeah.
And he put
where they were taking the ballots home in their cars and that sort of stuff?
That's totally normal. I mean, you don't take your ballots home when you're from your local election office? I do it all the time.
I just put it on the back of my Skidoo and I take it back to my igloo.
You can make little hockey goals, and you can play hockey and use those as posts. It's great. It's multi-purpose. So he put in a FOIA request, and the Elections BC, I don't know the details exactly, but they denied his request, saying that he made some sort of like disparaging, or because of the comments that he made on social media.
Jeez.
And he got scared. He was worried that they were going to come back and sue him for like defamation. So he locked his account. There's a lot of people locking their accounts, and I can't blame them.
No, I can't either. Speaking of Elections BC, have you been paying attention what's happening with Elections Alberta in regard to the petition that happened?
No.
Oh, okay. So, through the winter, we were gathering signatures to get a petition for the citizen-led petition to, I guess, push our premier to have a referendum, right? And then when it came time to turn them in, all of a sudden, Elections Alberta, there was a judge that stepped in the way and said that we haven't. Oh, I think it was because the natives had said that they needed to be consulted.
The duty to
E-
consult. Yeah.
Yeah, even though it's a citizen-led petition and had nothing to do with the government, they wanted to step in the way. So then the judge put a stay on it and wouldn't allow us to even count the petition. They wouldn't allow the information to be transferred from Elections Alberta to the government. So they couldn't count it. They couldn't, transfer the information. And then here's another thing that's happened is that the party or the group that calls themselves Forever Canadians, led by Thomas Lukaszuk. Have you seen that gentleman? Okay, well, they don't have any rules to follow. They don't have to follow any of the third-party advertiser rules that all of the other side, let's say the Conservatives, have to follow, because they're not really a campaign, apparently. So they could be funded by Russia or Ukraine or NIID, USAID, or whatever funding that they wanted. And nobody's looking at their books to find out if, money's coming from outside of the province, or, who's funding them at all, because they have special treatment, apparently. It's absolutely absurd.
I would say it's beyond absurd. It's retarded. What you're describing it's the Clarity Act. So when Quebec wanted to leave, the issue went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court made a ruling, and it got kicked down to the federal parliament. The parliament's like, you know what? Why don't we just create a law that states when and how provinces can leave? That's not how constitutions work. Like, your federal government can't just pass a law to amend the Constitution, but that's what they did. And then in there, this whole concept of duty to consult, it's kind of referenced in there. They say, listen, if you leave, you have to also consider these few things. And one of them is like business interests. One of them is like military federal bases. And one of them is First Nations, right? But that wasn't, if you read it, it's very clear. It doesn't mean you have to consult with them first and say, hey, is it okay if we do a referendum? No. It's just, as you're leaving on the way out, you got to say, hey, chief, is that all right? See you later. It's nice to know you.
It's crazy what's going on, but we expected all of this to happen. Do you have any thoughts on this? Do you feel either way, as far as are you a forever slave, or are you a forever independence kind of guy?
That's a totally not a loaded question.
Not a loaded question at all.
No, I mean, I'm 100% on board with independence. After the April election, giving the Liberals a fourth term, there's sort of a nail in the coffin for Canada. And I was like, attention, people they're going to lose hope in the federal Conservatives. They're going to shift their support to the Alberta independence movement. And I think they did for a while, but it's just so tragic how surgically they attacked that movement. So not only did they do it through the courts to give the appearance of legitimacy, that judge should be in jail, or at least removed for what they did. Yeah. But now that referendum, if now you have a question on a question, and if that question passes, I don't think you can have another referendum for another year. And they knew that, because you can't have a referendum between 6 months plus or minus an election, I believe, and you have one next year.
Right. And so then it pushes it back, is what you're saying.
Which is, I'm sure they intended to do this. They're trying to tire you guys out.
And cooler jets, right? Of course. They're trying to have us lose steam. And it's funny because they're peeling back. And I know the movement doesn't really want to have a target, a leader, so that there wasn't, somebody that they could really attack. But it seems like, if I look back and I look big picture, is that they've attacked each of the, the frontline person that's shown up, the Jeff Raths, the David Parkers, the Mitch Sylvester. I'm sure that he's continually being attacked, and they'll continue to attack that person, whatever they show up like. And I don't know, but I believe it's our only hope as far as Western Canada is concerned, because a lot of people are leaving Canada, like yourself.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's the last hope.
I really reached out to I'm not leaving, but I did reach out to a friend that's in Florida, or no, not in Florida, in Thailand, and I said, "So, what's it like there? Is it good? Is it a good spot? Because maybe I just want to go there. I don't know."
You know, I help a lot of people that they want to get out of Canada. I put them in touch with lawyers and I explain the process. And it's not just Wall Street bankers, or I guess Bay Street bankers, or restaurant owners, doctors, lawyers, law enforcement officers. I've helped an RCMP guy,
Hmm.
border security, military, like people that should be patriotic, that should have faith in the country and stay. Like these aren't just jaded conservatives who had to get the vaccine and they didn't like the vax pass.
Right. So you're saying even the ones that are on the government dole, the ones that are fully entrenched in that, I guess, government sort of trough, you're saying even they are needing to leave or wanting to leave. And
Yeah, they're losing faith in the Canadian project. I've heard of uh, Canadian Armed Forces veterans who say they have American flags. They're like, if America invades, we're putting this on our front porch. We're not fighting against them. We're fighting with them. And they're fed up. Like they view Ottawa as like a illegitimate government, like a criminal government. You're opening the borders. You're flooding the country with millions of people who have a different culture. I don't care what their skin color is. They're a different culture.
well, you know, they call you racist anytime that you say anything that's not agenda approved. And I've worked it out to this. I'm tired of them bringing in stupid people. Like, if you want to bring in the best and the brightest, and they want to have, their business and open a doctor's office, or they want to open up a car shop, like an automotive shop, that's great. But from what I can tell, the vast majority are the bootlicking ones that are looking for a handout and want a free life. They're looking for the greatest things that Canada can offer, and it's not opportunity. It's a free handout, is what I see. I could be wrong, but
No, you're right. I don't have a perfect picture of what's going on, but I think the economy has gotten away from them. So what started out as a great idea under Pierre Elliott Trudeau, let's just pack everyone in the cities and let's blow up the real estate market. Now we don't have anything. Like, our only industry is housing.
right.
It's a Ponzi scheme. Let's call it what it is. And businesses are struggling. They can't afford to hire people, but they can't afford to not hire people. Need A&W or whatever.
Yeah.
So the only solution is to bring in essentially a slave labor force. So you're bringing in these slave labor employees that work for less peanuts. And now the local white populations, their kids can't find a job. So you got heightened race division, which the government, through their incompetence, has fueled. And then on the other hand, like they're prostituting the passport to bring in the wealthier people. So they go to the Middle East and in East India. They're like, oh, you have a home there? Why don't you sell your home? Come to Canada. It's beautiful here. We have trees and snow-capped mountains. And then they come here, and that money that they brought, it lasts them 5, maybe 10 years. And then, they get screwed over. And then you're right. You have the grifters, the ones that come here because of, what happened in Germany and France. Like, you just have social services. So like, we don't get any of this in Iran, but over here, these idiots are giving us free food and healthcare.
Yeah. And why not? I mean, so what was it? What was the program called where you could bring in all of your family now? I mean, what is that called? You probably know what it's called. I don't.
It's called chain migration, but I can't
chain
remember.
Migration. That's it. But you could bring in all of your friends and your family. And what do you mean? Now that you're here, that doesn't mean that you automatically bring in 10 other people into Canada.
I'm reading this.
without any vetting.
I'm reading that book. It's just over there on the table. It's by a CIA guy, and he's there was a guy in Europe, this Afghani, and he brought over his something absurd, like his 29 children, because he had 3 wives.
Oh my God.
And he's like, I have back problems. I can't work, so you have to provide. And the state ended up having to give him like millions of dollars every year.
Oh, what are we going to do? Well, I know what you're doing. You're leaving. So you're just leaving the rest of us to figure it out. Peyman, way to go. And then you'll be there. I think, I know, I don't know. I want to do the same thing, but I feel like I have to fight. I feel like I have to stand up for Alberta, but I don't know.
Alberta still has some hope. I'll just leave you with this. A delegation from Quebec went to Alberta when this referendum thing was starting, and they were giving him advice on what you need for a successful referendum.
Mm-hmm.
One piece of advice was hopeful. They said you need to make alliances with other governments around the world,
mm-hmm.
so that if it goes south, they'll recognize you. The other two, not as much. One, they said you have to have an agreement in place with the First Nations because they torpedo everything in Canada.
Right.
Like it's just driving me nuts since I came to Canada. And the third thing is you need a premier that's on board. And there's whispers that she might actually be voted out in the next AGM,
which is in November. Just after we hopefully get enough votes in October 19th, and then we meet in November for an AGM. I think it's going to be spicy. I said this before. I think that AGM is going to get really spicy. The last one was pretty spicy. So
when is it? Do you know the exact date?
I don't remember. You know what? I probably have it in my calendar. Let me look at my paper calendar here.
It's probably after the US midterms.
November. Oh, you know what? I might not have it written in here. Nope. I might. Here, hang on one second. We got time. UCP AGM. Let's see if I have it here. There it is. And drum roll, please. Let me see if I have it here. Oh no, this is past. Where's this one? There it is. November 6th. There it is.
So 2 days afterwards.
Well, you mean after the US midterms?
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm guessing it wouldn't have that much of an impact unless, like, I don't know, Mitch Sylvester can go down to Mar-a-Lago and do a photo op.
Well, it's going to be interesting times, and I say it on a regular basis. We really are living in interesting times. It's certainly not boring. Let's put it that way. Right?
Yeah, every day seemingly it's another coup or another assassination or a presidential kidnapping.
Wow, you said it. I didn't say that. Holy mac.
I gotta admit, it was pretty badass. Like Trump, he went all in, and it worked out. Like how boss is that to kidnap somebody's president and just bring him home?
Oh yeah, of course. The Venezuela deal, Maduro. Well, let's see something happening though. I want something happening in Venezuela. I mean, yeah, you did that. I mean, use the same formula here. Come on. You want Greenland, you want Canada, so just come and do the same thing here. Just take it over.
I was talking to this guy in law enforcement, and we're trying to figure out, like, how would this play out if they put out a arrest warrant for Carney? Like, would you have to send in jets to take out our, like, surface to air missiles? Would you send in the Marines? And we just came to the conclusion, like, you wouldn't even announce it. You just put it on Interpol, and Carney would probably just surrender himself at the border. He's like, where is he going to go? Where can he go that special forces won't hunt him down?
And he's the antithesis of a hard-nosed negotiator. So, he'll say no to CBC. He'll say, I'm gonna run for the hills to CBC. CBC will then, put that out onto the airwaves. And then he'll run over to Mar-a-Lago and say, "No, I'm here. You can have me."
So put him in chains.
Put him in chains. Well, Peyman, this has been really interesting. I really appreciate having the opportunity to talk to you. I know that we're going to have probably a lot more to talk about in the next little while as things continue to steam forward as far as this one world government and the decay of Canada, and perhaps the wonderful walls that you guys are going to build around Florida so that you can keep all the Looney Tunes out. And I've considered Florida too. I mean, I think what Albertan hasn't considered Florida in the scheme of things, but wow, we'll have to keep an eye on whatever else is going on. I appreciate your time.
No, thanks for having me on, and I always enjoy these conversations. So if you ever want me back on, granted, I might have to pay you to let me on, but I'm always open.
Well, if you're paying Jason James, then maybe we do the same thing. It's just maybe it's an Alberta thing.
All right, man, but I'm running low here. All right, I'm going around paying all these people to make me feel important.
Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to our next conversation, and sticking around in Florida, or are you doing trips to the Great White North anytime soon?
No, I got to legally stay here. I can't leave the country until my application is finished processing. But I don't know if I'll stay. Yeah, I might go to it's not redneck enough for me here in Florida. I might go to Idaho or something.
Head over to Louisiana or Kentucky. Yeah, that's right. Well, thank you so much. If you don't mind sticking around, I'm just going to say goodbye to the audience, and God bless you. Thank you so much for being here with me tonight.
Cheers.
It's nice to have you. All right, you guys, if you're still watching, make sure to share this out, get some more eyeballs on this information. And don't forget, Capitalism and Morality coming up September 11 and 12. We have the big event for Alberta Prosperity Project coming up August 29th in Edmonton at the Legislature at 1 p.m. You've got to bring your dog, you've got to bring your kids, you got to bring everybody to that event so we can pack the Legislature. August 29th, 1 p.m. And like I always say, let's stay sane together. Keep your head on a swivel. This is Bruce, and I'm out of here. Thank you so much for watching Unscrew the News. I appreciate your participation in freedom in Canada. Share this information and help others to wake up. God bless.